Yo, what up? It's Benjamin D'Souza here, back with another classic. And I want to speak on the imaginary power of a woman's sexuality. Now, I've been hearing, I was the first one, let me just go ahead and say that. I was the first one to sit up here and say that it's not about money, it's not about competency, it's not about the BJC. Really, it's not even about swag. It's about the woman being able to control the man. And now I'm hearing a lot of brothers throughout the manosphere catching on to that. But Chronicles of Judah 144 just dropped a bomb in his latest batch of videos when he took it to the next level when he said the woman needs to be worshipped. I said, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because why would she, in certain aspects of the relationship, appear to divest control to a certain type of man, but still feel confident that she's in control of the overall situation? Swag, in my opinion, as a lot of these females describe it, is just an outward display of devotion to the church of the siren or the church of the succubi. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. That's all it is. When a female sees that, you're so invested in the latest fashion and skinny jeans and all these little trinkets. What's that? What's that keychain with the big ass rabbit foot on the side or whatever? And all this goofy ass shit, spending $2,000 on a pair of sneakers. When a bitch see you doing that, man, she already knows that you worship at the altar of the succubi. So that's like pre-vetted. She done already pre-vetted you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you pay close attention on social media, you'll see a lot of memes pop up where females talking about get you an ugly nigga, get you an ugly nigga. Because it's not about jawline. It's not. You got females talking about, man, it's chubby nigga season or it's skinny nigga season or whatever. It's not about jawline. It's not about how you look or any of that. It's about, do you pay obeisance to the altar of the succubi? And COJ said something profound. He said that, a lot of this whole attitude or spirit that a lot of these women have is nothing new. It goes back to antiquity with the worship of the mother goddess. And all these females are trying to put themselves up as miniature facsimiles of the mother goddess. You know what I'm saying? So, and they derive this power through sexuality. But let's take an in-depth look of the powers of the pussy, shall we? All right, first, there are two main functions of pussy as far as it pertains to a man. Pleasure and reproduction. It's pretty self-explanatory. How can these chicks monetize their pussy? Outright sell it to many buyers or attach it to one man. But the liabilities of dealing with pussy, diseases, that's pretty self-explanatory. Shout out DJ Kid. Unwanted kids, unwanted children, and also being dragged through the meat grinder of the family court system. The possibility of violence, because like 50 Cent said in one of his songs a long time ago, when it rains it pours, it goes down in the hood over money and whores, man. And lastly, the timeline of pussy prime years, 18 to 35. After 35, ladies, If you ain't had your parachute, if you ain't had your parachute packed, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna have to compromise a lot. And I really was inspired to do this because I was listening to this panel, and there was this brother on there. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not really gonna come down on him. I'm more disappointed, to be honest with you. Because this brother would constantly say, well, why y'all worried about these bitches, man? I don't give a fuck about what these bitches talking about, man. I'm just trying to fuck them. And then in the same breath, well, not the same breath, a little while later in the same conversation, he turns around and says, man, these bitches got power, man. Because they know they can go out and fuck any, they could get a nigga to fuck them at any time. I said, bro, that's not power, man. I was disappointed. He was sitting up here telling us not to put these chicks on a pedestal. And then later on in the same conversation, he extols and put these same bitches on the pedestal for they pussy. Like, this shit's crazy, man. But no, pussy power is not real power, man. And we all know why, because it doesn't impose itself on the entity that it's trying to coerce. It doesn't. It persuades, but it doesn't impose. Now, to get back to this woman's need to be worshipped, I'm hearing this term narcissist being thrown around by a lot of women. And shout out once again, COJ144. He said that, these chicks are getting ahead of the curve and they're starting to define what the term narcissist means in the eyes of the masses by constantly projecting out that somebody else is narcissist, when in fact, it's them who are narcissists. But I came across this article on helpguide.org, narcissist personality disorder. And I'm not going to read this verbatim. I'm just going to read segments here and there. But a narcissist expects constant admiration, who thinks they're better than everyone else, but flies off the handle at the slightest criticism. Brothers, does that remind you of anyone? These bitches constantly sitting up here talking about how they the most educated and how they killing it in the game, how they going to the moon and back, how they created the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th and all this. But then when you point out, man, y'all getting degrees in bullshit, and then on top of that, you got debt, and your total net income is this, and children out of wedlock, and you're really not popping like that, then they just fly off the fucking handle. But here's the thing, as I continue. Narcissists are in love with an idealized, grandiose image of themselves. Once again, these chicks, they got mirrors in their house. They know that they have a lot of deficient personalities and whatnot. They know what it is. But they're in love with an idealized image of themselves that's in their mind. Continuing. And they're in love with the deflated self-image precisely because it allows them to avoid deep feelings of insecurity. But by propping up their delusions of grandeur, it takes a lot of work, and that's where the dysfunctional attitudes and behaviors come in. So trying to keep this facade going, trying to keep up with the Joneses, always having to have 20-inch yaki in your hair. Always have to have your lashes on fleek and your nails done, and you know, the latest rod and designer bags and all this other shit, you know, just to keep that image that you're a boss bitch and that you're killing it in the game, leads to how you say, exorbitant spending and just financial irresponsibility and a host of other shit, just to cope with keeping up that facade. Narcissists involve a pattern of self-centered, arrogant thinking and behavior, a lack of empathy and consideration for other people. Let me stop you right there. A lack of empathy and consideration for other people. A chick will cheat on you and do the grimiest shit possible and have absolutely no care in the world about how you feel about it or how it affects you emotionally and mentally. And in some cases, a lot of these chicks get off on hurting you. I'll never forget it, man. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. Going through it with my baby mama. I was like 9 months in to her keeping me away from my 2-year-old daughter. My daughter was like probably a little bit over 1 at the time, maybe 15, 16 months. But anyway, I called her mom up and was like, yo, listen, she doing this, she doing that. She won't let me see my daughter. And her mother discarded all of that, didn't take her daughter to task. You know what she said to me? She said, well, maybe next time you should you should have kept it in your pants. I said, oh, okay, all right. If I should have kept my penis in my pants, guess what else I'm gonna keep in my pants? I'm gonna keep my wallet and my hands in my pants. I'm gonna pay this punk ass child support, but don't ask me to do shit, don't ask me to pay for shit outside of that. But no empathy, man, for my plight whatsoever. None. Continuing. And they need an incessive need for admiration. Colorism crybabies, anyone? How they constantly need to be uplifted and put up on a pedestal. Yeah, man. This shit's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, fellas, do not be a worshiper at the church of the succubi.